gotta look like I'm doing something when we start.
Having a stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
We're live, pal.
Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. This is JOEMANIA, and I'm your host, Phantom Troublemaker. I like my special missions like Bobo. It's Cobra Commander, never Coco. If you get in the ring with me, you're going to end up like Battle Force 2000. So the only question left is, what you going to do when the Purple Python Patrol is coming for you? Yeah.
Well, listen up, brother. From the mountains of Sierra Gordo to the caves of Cobra La, I am your co-host who will stand up for the red, white, and blue crapshoot, Noel Wood.
Yeah.
And I'm your Cobra intern who comes from the streets. I come from the city. I come from the place where there is no pity. Codename Legion Cub.
And this is JOEMANIA. All right, well, welcome to Audible Interlude. This is not staying for the whole episode. It just can't happen because, one, I don't do this gimmick for long stretches of time anymore. Two, I don't know how the Hulkster has dealt, although I will say, I'll admit, full disclosure, these are not Hulk Hogan quality feather boas. They're a little itchy, little uncomfortable, kind of like the jacket. We got to get comfortable here because we got a lot of show ahead. We're going to hang out with everybody in the chat. We're going to take suggestions because unmasking coming up.
Oh my goodness!
It's me.
Old Man Jenkins.
Oh yeah. Oh, the old man part is right.
Whatever.
So tonight we've got our normal news that we're going to cover. We got a few things to talk about. We've got a big, huge reveal. We've been working with a partner now on some really cool stuff that we're going to show you in just a minute. But the bulk of the show is going to be JOEMANIA, where we cast wrestlers as characters from G.I. Joe. We each have our lists of what we've come up with. And we're going to go to the chat. We're going to talk to you guys as well and get your ideas. So start thinking about it now because we're going to go through the news first. So you guys who are watching, start thinking about which wrestlers might make great Joes or Cobras or Dreadnoks or whatever the case may be. I'm sure Kristian has somebody picked to be an invader. So we're
Is it one of the invaders?
Just you wait.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we got a lot
Bruiser Brody.
We've got a lot of fun planned for tonight. The reason normally we're on Mondays. You can catch us every other Monday on the Needless Things YouTube channel doing a live stream. The reason we're not doing it on Monday is tomorrow is Mrs. Troublemaker's birthday. And I thought, you know what? Maybe don't do the live stream on the wife's birthday. That might be a good way to stay in her good graces and keep having the privilege of spending countless dollars on stupid toys. All right. Needless Things YouTube channel. I already mentioned it. I actually just reviewed, it's behind me. I'm not going to go get it because I've already futzed around enough this episode, but I just reviewed the Crimson Bat because I actually got several requests to review it. Some people had had some complaints about it. Have either one of you guys gotten your Crimson Bat yet? Or did you guys?
No.
Did you just pass on it?
Yep.
Yeah. The only bat variant I'm down for is the Arctic.
And the Arctic does, and the Arctic looks significantly different. Well, not significantly, but it looks like it has some extra tooling. So I reviewed the Crimson Bat as soon as I got home from work before we went on the live stream. It's going to be up this week on the Needless Things YouTube channel. All of my Super 7 Ultimates Wave 1 finally got here. I already reviewed the Bat, but the other 3 are going to go up probably next week because I've already got this week planned out. So Needless Things YouTube channel, all kinds of toy reviews, but everything Joe that I can get my hands on as soon as I can get it. All right, here it is. big reveal. We have been working with Slickalicious, who is an excellent graphic designer. Follow Shop Slickalicious on Instagram. Check out GI Jive. The Slickalicious's Etsy store is full of incredible stuff. We have been working very closely for a special shirt that is going to be available. It was supposed to be live during the show, but I just could not get it together to get everything uploaded. So it will be available by midnight tonight. We'll have links up on the Audible Interlude podcast Instagram. Guys, can I get a drum roll? I do not hear a drum roll. I think it's got to be a verbal drum roll. Give me a little bit.
Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll.
This is a very special, limited time frame. No sleep till Augusta.
Yes.
Audible Interlude podcast shirt. You'll be able to see the graphic in much more detail once it goes up on our TeePublic store. And like I said, we'll have the links as soon as they go up before midnight tonight. This is only going to be available from now until the first day of Joe Fest, and then it comes down. That design will not be available after that. So you'll have from today until June, I think it's the 11th, to grab that design. We have another exclusive design that we will reveal at a later date that you are only going to be able to get in person at Joe Fest. So both by Slickalicious. Check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram. Amazing. There's tons of amazing stuff there, but we worked with him to get these just unbelievable designs. Once you see this one up close, it's gorgeous. And obviously, you know what it's an homage to. A little No Sleep Till Augusta. Never, ever false metal. All right. Our schedule. The audio version of this episode will be available wherever you get your podcasts this Friday. Next Friday will be our next audio segments episode where we don't record it live. We just go through and have a bunch of different topics, whether we focus on vehicles, characters that never got figures, things like that. And then our next live stream will be on April the 10th. I'm working on something cool for that, but you can't spill the beans up front because we've got enough exciting stuff tonight already without looking too far into the future. All right, you guys, are you ready to talk about some news?
News.
All right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. Let me get this up here, get my share screen going, because I am very excited for this thing to just fall off. What just happened? Well, let's just do that and that. Are you guys seeing some Ninja O-ring figures right now?
Yes.
So this is Legends of the Hidden Force, currently live on Kickstarter. I highly recommend you go to the Kickstarter, check out the individual images of these figures. These are classic style O-ring figures. And like looking at them on your phone does not do them justice. Looking at them right now, even this image that I saved doesn't do them justice. You need to zoom in on these things. They're beautiful. There are a total of 4 different waves potentially in this initial Kickstarter. I'm just very excited about this, and we will be interviewing the people behind this Kickstarter very soon. We're working on scheduling for that right now. Did you guys get a chance, Noel and Kristian, did you get a chance to take a look at this? Well, Noel, you were at Toylanta.
Yes. I was at Toylanta, and the folks behind Legends of the Hidden Forest were actually there. So they had a booth on display. It was actually a very popular booth, just a couple booths down from where we were sitting. And they had people talking to them all day. And I just briefly had a quick chat with them this afternoon, just saying, hey, I think that you've talked to my podcast cohort Dave recently, but yeah, I got a chance to look at some of their prototypes they had out there, and they are very, very nice looking figures.
Kristian, did you get a chance to check out the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I've looked at the Kickstarter. There's also a couple of videos already up on YouTube from people who are associated or friends of the folks making this. And I thoroughly agree with one of the YouTube videos that I watched. As you guys know, ninjas aren't necessarily my thing, but these figures are so colorful. But not in that 90s Joe neon kind of way. But
right.
You put these on your shelf and they're going to stick out. And I'm actually really excited to get a couple of them.
Well, I think what's really, because the figures look great. They're great O-ring ninja figures. But I really love the world building that they've done, because when you go to the Kickstarter page and you check these out, there is a story in place. But you almost don't even need to. I mean, you should check out the story, but you almost don't need to, because just visually, we're just looking at Series 1 right now, Warriors of the Hidden Force. Just looking at these, the figures tell a story. And I think that's so important to your shelf or to your, photography or whatever you may be doing with your toys, or heaven forbid, playing with them. They're just beautiful, and I'm really interested in this world, and I can't wait to talk to the creators, Whiskey Jack Toys, about what's going on here. It's another exciting O-ring project, and I hope these things keep going, and I hope they keep picking up steam, because as of now, Hasbro is not fulfilling our O-ring needs. So I'm glad we've got independent creators making awesome stuff like this to help us out, to do the job. All right. I'm going to stop the screen share and recommend everybody go check out Legends of the Hidden Force. That is the Kickstarter, and it is extremely exciting. I've already backed it. And the prices are super reasonable too. If you want to back it for just one figure, $22. That's for an independently created O-ring figure. That's great. But also they've got different packages. You can back the entire Wave 1. It works out to $20 a figure. You can back Wave 1 plus the expansion sets. They've got all kinds of different tiers. But if you want to just go ahead and get in on it, back the one figure so you can keep an eye on it, $22 to start. And just the Shinobi alone, to me, is worth that.
I mean, that's what Hasbro's been selling their O-ring figures for individually.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
These are brand new designs and everything.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to follow this along. All right, moving along, fellas. Oh, and I want to mention this. If you look at the tiers, some of the tiers have duplicates. Make sure you choose the tier that does not charge you double for shipping. For instance, if you choose the 6-figure tier that's $120, make sure it's not charging you $120 for shipping. This was a weird kind of thing that happened when they set the Kickstarter up. They're fixing it. So there is another tier with correct shipping prices. So just make sure you look at that. And when I checked it earlier today, the tiers with the most backers were the one that were the accurate shipping prices on the tiers. So just be sure you take a look at that when you go check it out. All right. We actually have we've got a lot of G.I. Joe news. Oh, wait a minute. We got to check in with our chat. Look at our chat. Holy cow. Craig, what is up, my friend? Craig, you are incredible. Rich Murphy, glad to see you again. Night of the Nerdy Laser. Rich, thank you for the super chat.
Woo-hoo!
Rich in the super chat hooking us up. Anything that and we are not asking anybody to donate. We're not here for that. But anything that we do get in the super chat goes towards whether it's merch or whether it's hosting or whatever the case may be. It goes into the show because there's little behind the scenes, little inside baseball for you guys. There's not a lot of money in podcasting. So anything that you guys throw at us in that super chat all goes back into the show to make it better. Like I said, we're gonna have merch at Joe Fest, and that is going towards that Joe Fest merch. Awesome. Kevin Riddle, what is up? Glad you're here, Kevin. We got to move on. G.I. Joe news. You guys, 316. Give me a hell yeah.
Yeah.
We got two.
What?
Now, granted, what?
What?
Oh gosh, the worst thing to ever happen to professional wrestling. So they were leaked in advance, and I really do wonder sometimes if Hasbro is not strategically leaking these things. And we'll get to two more items that I honestly wonder if Hasbro. Emily's one smart cookie. I'm just gonna say that.
If they had not leaked them, there would have been absolutely no fanfare.
Right.
No,
Right.
like I am. Yeah.
Who would have even cared about Walmart's Collector Con?
Like the first Collector Con, remember there was like,
here's
everything that's coming.
Right.
And ever since then, it's like, oh, it's just another day.
Stuff just goes up. Yeah. And well,
Wah, wah.
but that's what's so crazy is the other companies didn't promote it either, because I went on there. So we're talking about, obviously it's already happened. It happened, 10 days ago. Range Viper and Night Force Big Ben went up. The wild thing is they're Walmart exclusive. And while Big Ben is Night Force, which that was the prevailing theory forever, was that Night Force would be Walmart's next exclusive range. Not Range Viper, Range Viper, not affiliated with any specific faction. Very interesting choices. But the good news was these things were available for like a week, maybe still available. I haven't even looked because I got mine. They did sell out on Pulse in like 20 minutes, but they were on Walmart on and off for a long time. If you missed them, and I know I say this a lot, if you missed them, it's on you. You weren't paying attention, pal. So the figures themselves, Big Ben, we had seen the render of, but the Range Viper just came out of nowhere. What do you guys think of this guy? And were you, because Range Viper came out way after I was out of Joe. I have like a later, I don't know if like an early 2000s Range Viper that honestly I didn't make much of at the time. I just thought it was like, oh, cool, he's got some kind of weird skull head. What do you guys think of this classified Range Viper?
Love it. He came out when my younger brother was collecting Joes. So it was one that I saw frequently, and for being so much later in the line, it is such a cool design. And I feel like in some of our earliest episodes, he is one that I mentioned I would love to see an update on, and absolutely does not disappoint.
Yeah, they did a very good, like, faithful, but they kept him looking like with the classified, where they do the updates that are necessary, and they keep what works with the original figure. And of course, they've done that with so many lately, and this is one they've done that with. This was again after I was collecting, and I've kind of put my demarcation on collecting classified now, which is similar to my collecting of 3 3/4 inch, where I'm like, I'm going to go 82 to 87 unless there's something that just really strikes me. So I'm still haven't picked this one up. If I ever see it at retail, may pick it up, but it's a cool figure, and I definitely hope it moves well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will, because it's a troop. It's another one of those troop builders, and Hasbro knows how well those do. To me, when I look at it, I just see a Mars Attacks alien, and I love it. I love the idea of Cobra designing a trooper to just look scary and freaky. Like, I like that. Yeah. Like, I imagine like Dr. Mindbender sitting in a lab just drawing up this helmet mask combination and being like, this will freak people out. I don't know why my Dr. Mindbender sounds like the Count, but apparently that's what I've got going on. So yeah, I ordered them on Walmart and on Pulse, because I have learned my lesson about trusting one place to deliver a pre-order. With Big Ben, whoever gets it to me first, I'll cancel the other one, but I might end up with 2 Range Vipers. We'll see what happens. but I cannot wait to see this thing in person. Do I even care about this? Hang on, let me see if. Okay,
That's
I've
always
got
a
it.
good way to start.
Right. Well, I've got this. So what happened?
Dad's gonna go out for some cigarettes now, kids. He'll be right back.
Right. Well, what happened is this popped up on his tank, and it was a weird thing where I think it just came out of order. So let's take a look at this, and we'll see what you guys think. So these are plush G.I. Joe classified figures from Toy Factory that apparently his tank posted about back in February, but I have no recollection of this whatsoever. This goes back to what I said about any Joe is good Joe. Any odd markets that we can get G.I. Joe into is nothing but a good thing. But it is truly a little strange to see the classified designs on these little plush people that I think like WWE has plushes like this.
They've done this with other Hasbro properties because I've got an Optimus Prime. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've not seen these for any line.
I
That's
believe
wild.
it's the same. I believe it's the same line. I presume so.
It probably is. I would imagine they've got the same licenses with the same people. And honestly, if Hasbro's already working with them for Transformers, I'm sure they were like, well, hey, Toy Factory, would you like to make some Joes as well? And Toy Factory, not realizing that perhaps this would not have as wide an appeal as Transformers, we're like, sure, Hasbro, let's do it. You know what? For what they are, I think they look fantastic.
Yeah. These are the same ones, and actually, I've been seeing them at Walmart. They've got like the Optimus Prime one that has like half of his regular body and half of it's like a scan, like when Unicron is scanning the Decepticons.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, so they've got one there at Walmart, but I've just got the one that's just a standard Optimus Prime.
But
I got for like $8 because these are really cheap at retail.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And so that to me indicates that they are like they know what they're doing. They know the properties they're dealing with. To do something like that, like that's a deep nerd dive right there. So, pretty cool. I mean, they look great. They're not anything I particularly need to have, but again,
no. But when you're looking for baby's first Destro,
yes,
this is the way 100%. To do it.
Hey, the more Joe you get on the shelf, the more eyes you get on it, the more young people you get into it.
Exactly.
That's what
it's just like buying those combat heroes for my son when he was 2 years old. Like, oh, these are, little introduce them to Joe at a young age.
Because you know what? Later on, they're going to have nostalgia for that thing. If they had it in their childhood,
that's right.
They're going to have nostalgia for it.
You're going to be in trouble when they turn 6 and little plush Destro's head falls off and you can't find one anymore. So buy 2. Buy 2. Okay, what do we got here in the chat? We've got Alan Grant. What is up, Alan Grant? Craig Dukas loved the Range Viper design and lore. I was out of toys by the time they came out, but have been digging in now. Kevin Riddle, cartoon code names. We're getting there. Cartoon Easter eggs on the new package. We talked about that last time. I'm thinking they're going to talk or reveal the new cartoon during Yojo June. Dude, that would be awesome. We need something. We need something. And I don't mean we need something as in, oh, we need media to support the line because the line's doing just fine. We need something because I want new G.I. Joe media. I want something to follow. We don't know anything about a new comic. We don't know anything about, I can only guess that Amazon Lady J show is DOA. No more.
That was 2+ years ago. We first reported on that, and I haven't heard a thing since.
We need something. I want besides the toys, and look, don't get me wrong, the toys are good enough, but I want more. I want some media. I would love a new cartoon. I would love, we talked about before a lot of ideas for live action shows that might tie together. There's so many possibilities if you get the right creative minds and the right people that believe in G.I. Joe behind it. All right. Craig Dukas, I believe those plush toys are aimed at claw machine prizes. They certainly look like that. But as Noel said, they're in Walmart. Just like I know it's a different company, but just like the WWE ones that are on like the end caps in the collector section at Walmart, it's the same kind of thing. And we said oh, they're for kids, but you've got teenagers, you've got everybody collects plush stuff. It's almost in a weird way. I think there's kind of a similar market to Funko Pops, where you walk through and you're like, oh, I know what that thing is. That's only $8. I'll get that.
Well, and coming from a toy convention this weekend, and the last few times I've been at one, there's more plush stuff out now than I've ever seen before. Like there's a big market for it.
I wonder if that's a money thing. I wonder if there's maybe plush is a little cheaper to produce than plastic. Who knows? Yeah. The toy companies certainly do. All right. So we've got a couple of lists of leaks to discuss before we get to JOEMANIA. The first leaked list that we got, and these have both been confirmed from JT Prime, who has been a reliable source, and who is, I guess, the guy Emily is leaking stuff directly to. Pure speculation.
Allegedly.
First leaked list. I'm not going to read the numbers off because who cares? The Wes is interesting though, and I do wonder if that means Walmart exclusive, but this seems like a lot to be Walmart. It was 8 figures. And that seems like a lot of Walmart exclusives because that's the totality of the retro line. But the first 2 have already panned out, Range Viper and Big Ben. Then we get Night Force Shooter, which is codename Hugo. Codename Baudelaire, which, by the way, Baudelaire the Pug, excellent Instagram account. Alley Viper Redeco, which I would love. Well, honestly, any of the Alley Viper Redecos were pretty good. There was a gray and red one. Wasn't there like a blue and
there was a blue one that came with where they redid the shield, where it's just like a giant round shield with a Cobra logo on it, and that's what I want.
That would be nice. I would love to see that. Well, and that one, you almost wonder if they're maybe going to keep the Cobras to a similar color scheme. So if they did a blue Alley Viper, it would kind of go with the Range Viper a little bit color-wise. We've got some kind of chaos going on upstairs. I don't know if somebody's breaking into the house to stop this podcast or what, but just know that JOEMANIA is on some radars, people. Next up, we have Flaubert, which is supposedly a zombie Viper. I am so into that. But let me ask you guys. So we see zombie Viper. We know that we've gotten the zombie Vipers in the modern collection. Do you think this will be a completely new figure, or will this be a retooling of the existing Vipers with like maybe different arms or something?
My fear is that it's only a redecoed head and maybe a swapped out like lower arm and hand.
Yeah,
I would love to see it look like the modern era zombie Viper, but
Well, and it's interesting because what we've got in this line, like I said, there are 8 figures. Range Viper, new tooling. Big Ben, new tooling with reuse, further down the line. Night Force Shooter, which we didn't even talk about Shooter and the potential for what that could be, whether it could be using like Scarlet parts or if it's going to be completely new tooling that later on could be used to do a future figure we're going to talk about in a minute. Alley Viper, obviously straight repaint, unless they decide they might do a new shield, because as we saw with the retros, they did
like new accessories.
Yeah. Right. Gung Ho got a new head. Like we did.
Lady J got her camera.
There. Right.
Yep.
And then Shadow Tracker, which is a lot of new tooling. Tennyson, new Joe character, which kind of suggests new tooling. And then Night Force Joe Redeco, which pretty clearly says it's a repaint. Could be, we don't know. It could be, what have we got so far? We've got Tunnel Rat, who has been
Outback.
announced, but we haven't seen yet. Surely they wouldn't do a third Outback within a couple of years. I mean, they could,
They
but
could.
I wouldn't think so.
Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon could be. And if they do Falcon, which I don't have him in hand yet, so I can't judge, but apparently a lot of people would like a new head for Falcon.
Yeah.
That hopefully you could just swap with the other one. That would be a great move on Hasbro's part. But anyway, that's 8 looks like Walmart exclusive figures that maybe Yojo June, who knows? We'll see some reveals on these. I mean, I got to imagine these are all 2023 releases, because technically the retros were all supposed to be 2022 releases. It just didn't work out that way. But we'll see. Maybe these will bleed into 2024. I hope not. And then we've got on March 24th, a new leak list. Also, the way that this got released was weird because it popped up on His Tank, seemed legit, and then didn't seem legit. And then JT Prime had to actually pop in on His Tank and say, hey guys, this is legit, or this is as legit as everything else that I have shared with you. There was just some confusion about how it got leaked. So what we have here is, first of all, my favorite code names that they've ever done.
Yes.
We'll run down them and then we'll kind of hit each one very, very lightly because we do need to get on to JOEMANIA. So Captain Caveman Deluxe, Dastardly Pet, Blossom Vehicle, Buttercup. Oh, excuse me. HB Blossom Vehicle, TNS Buttercup, Velma, which I would think the is probably Mad Marauders.
Oh, yeah.
Shaggy Vehicle, Scooby Vehicle, Scrappy, Retro Smurfette, Retro Papa, Retro Gargamel, and then 60 Tom and 60 Jerry. So I got really, really, really excited about some of the stuff in here. And then it looked like it was fake. And then JT Prime popped in and I got really, really, really excited again, because at the very least, this confirms that they are doing something for the 60th anniversary, and that the retro line, as we have been speculating quite strongly for the past few months, is going to continue in some form. My guess is still as fan channel, similar to the Marvel Legends retros, and hopefully on card backs like those. I think it's fair to say Captain Caveman, we really have no idea what that might be. It's a deluxe figure, whatever it is. But there's not a lot of point in speculating on some of these. It's just interesting to see. We have a deluxe, we have a pet, we have 3 vehicles. So we have Blossom and Buttercup, which is a reference to Powerpuff Girls. Who is the third Powerpuff Girl?
Bubbles.
Do we suspect that Blossom Vehicle could be the Trouble Bubble? But then what's Buttercup? To go with the Trouble Bubble, could Buttercup be a separately released Televiper?
That would be fantastic, because that's one of my dreams.
And again, this is all pure speculation. We believe me when I tell you, we are not even 6 degrees of separation from Emily or Lenny or anybody else. This is all just us farting around in our heads.
I was wondering, the Smurfette one was the one I was like, I wonder if they're actually going to put a female figure in there, and what female figure think we probably need in the retro? It's got to be a Scarlet, right?
Here is my guess, is that these 3 retros, while further, like, once they get past these 3, maybe the retros will once again be repaints with slight tooling. But I wonder if they're relaunching retro with Scarlet, Duke, and Cobra Commander, but completely new tooling, more in line with the original designs.
Yeah.
And I think that's something everybody wants. And look, I like...
Well, we know we're getting Cobra Commander with a new
Right.
with new tooling.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's an easy one to
He
just slap
is-
in a retro package.
We are 100% getting a classic looking Cobra Commander. It's happening, even outside of his of the HasLab. So yeah, that's very, but just the fact that retro, that even though I know not everybody loves the Slaughter's Marauders colors, but the fact that they are following barbecue with more releases, and what the heck will they be? And there are vehicles. Look, are we gonna get like an armadillo?
It's pretty ambitious.
That would make sense.
I mean,
but
we're probably going to get another repaint of that Ram at some point, I would think.
You're probably right, but man, I don't know how interested I am in a Mad Marauders Ram. But at the same time, if you had told me Tiger Force Ram before I saw it, I would have been like, pass.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker and I'll buy it all.
I've seen what you've bought recently. I watched the video.
Yeah. Excuse me. And then finally, 60, which clearly means 60th anniversary, because next year is the 60th anniversary of G.I. Joe, which, holy cow. Do you guys have any kind of speculation at all for what those two figures might be? What would be appropriate? What would you like to see?
anyone that listens to our podcast knows what I think it's going to be. So,
I would like to see an Adventure Team style Joe in this line. Of course, my personal favorite of the 12-inch original Joes was the Mercury Astronaut. So that'd be cool.
I would love to see some of the original 12-inch Joe designs in classified. And we've said this before, but I just think that would be a really cool homage. Put them in special packaging, the long box style packaging. They did it with the 3 3/4 inch stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a home run, man. It would be so cool to see. I would love to see that. What is the box set that you got, Noel? Of the O-rings?
Yeah, the where you had like an Army and Navy,
right,
Air Force and a Marine.
I'd love to see all of those in classified. That would just be very, very cool. Lots of possibilities, and hopefully this just shows that they have plans for the 60th anniversary next year. We will see. All right, Rich Murphy, I hope they go with new packaging for the retros. No more bendy cards. Yeah, there's no reason that they shouldn't put them on the same kind of card backs that the Marvel Legends come on. And if they do, I would almost be tempted to buy 2 of each, because those cards are so fantastic. As a matter of fact, I've got, I can't reach it right now. I bought the retro Gray Hulk that's on a blister card that's like this big. And my intent was to open it because the figure's incredible. I haven't been able to open it yet because the card looks so darn good. And it's thick like that. You could cut somebody's head off with this card back. It's that thick. So yeah, let's up the quality on that. But lots of stuff to be excited about. But it is time, you guys, to move on finally to JOEMANIA, brother. So
I'm pointing at the sign.
Oh yeah. Good point, Craig. But will he get the lifelike hair to go with the 60th tribute figures? Yes. If you know me, you know I want classified figures with flocked hair and flocked beards. And I'll say it again, Hasbro, Mattel has thrown down the gauntlet on vac metal, on flocked figures. They're doing it all. They're making you guys look bad. Aren't you ashamed? Hasbro, Mattel is calling you out. They're embarrassing you. You need vac metal. Here's what I want for the 60th anniversary. I want a Super Trooper with a vac metal shield and chest plate and flocked hair. Come on. Make it happen. That's what I want. All right. Oh boy. Okay, you guys, everybody in the chat, it is time. We'll keep an eye on it. If you can suggest a wrestler from any era for a Joe character or Cobra character or whatever, anything from GI Joe. We're casting wrestlers as Joes, Cobras, whatever. Throw them in the chat. We'll share them here. We each have our own lists. I'm going to start, and just to give you guys kind of an idea, I almost used a little bit of a mental squint test to make my list, which is not necessarily just visual, but like lots of different qualities to see, oh, does this person maybe visually remind me of the wrestler, or character-wise, or even just a voice? Like, I used all kinds of different criteria to where when I sort of thought about it, I was like, yeah, I could see this person as this Joe. And it's hard to define, but mostly my list is like, you know what? This feels right to me. How did you guys go about making your decisions? Was there one criteria that was stronger than others for you?
Honestly, that's almost my exact same mentality. There's some of these that it's a visual thing. There's some of these that it's a personality or like the way they speak. You know, and then sometimes it's just like, how is this person perceived by the general public?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually struggled with this one to try and figure out, because I very much was going personality base, and lightning struck today, and I found my niche for this, I guess, is the correct way of saying it. So I'm just going to put it out there that some of it is looks based, most of it is personality based, and none of it is gender based.
Okay.
So just because someone was male or female,
sure,
in Joe does not mean that they are that in my list.
Dude, I went to it. It just worked out that I had one pick that I absolutely loved. I'll share it later on. And then I realized that she actually worked better for a different character, but I still am kind of mad at myself because I think my first instinct was right, but we'll get to it. And
I also need to put this out there for you guys and our listeners. Dave never specified that it is WWE wrestling.
No, it's not.
No. So Independence, Glow, it's all on the table.
It's everything.
I went all over.
Excellent.
And for those following along on Audible Interlude podcast on Instagram may notice that I used Eddie Edwards as Barbecue because he's Boston's favorite son. And I used Dax Harwood for Bazooka because of that mustache. So yeah, this is not in any way limited to WWE. This is all over the place. All right. I'm going to kick it off, but I'm going to go back to our original inspiration for this whole concept because we do on our audio episodes, we do a segment called Rank and File Card where we examine the original file cards of the G.I. Joes. We get input from my dad, Lieutenant Colonel Mongoose, about these figures because he's the guy that was buying them for me way back in the 80s because military guy, loved those first couple of years of G.I. Joe. I think it lost him pretty quick, but he was in it at the beginning. So as we were reviewing Clutch's file card and reading specific elements of it, it hit me like Clutch is Scott Hall, or Scott Hall is Clutch, I guess would be a more appropriate way of saying it. Like that lineup was just perfect. And that's where that inspiration came from. I was like, man, we can make a whole event of this. So our first casting is Scott Hall. Oh, I already see. Oh, wow. You guys are getting in here. What do we got here? Okay, Craig Dukas has already suggested Bushwhackers equal Dreadnoks. Not opposed to that at all.
Yeah.
That completely makes sense. Craig also suggested Leaping Lanny Poffo as Clutch. Now, Leapin' Lanny did not make my list. He was edged out by somebody else. But my pick, well, we'll wait. We'll wait till we get to our picks. But Craig, I would like to hear the thought behind Leapin' Lanny as Clutch. So Noel, why don't you tell us your first wrestler as a Joe or Cobra or whatever?
So this goes back to like when I first saw this wrestler. She reminded me of a G.I. Joe character, Luna Vachon as Zorana.
Okay, so here's how we're gonna have to do this. When either name matches up, we're gonna have to discuss which portion goes where. So Luna Vachon as Zorana.
Yes.
Give us your if there's more to it, give us your thought process.
Well, if you've seen Luna Vachon, may she rest in peace. You know, she was unusual. She had like the mohawk and the tattoos, and she wore the leather, and she was a tough chick. Physically doesn't really look like Zorana. You know, didn't wear the same colors or anything like that, but just kind of had that same kind of vibe to her. You know, that kind of Wendy O. Williams vibe that I always like.
Oh, yeah. Good call. You just made the connection like much stronger for me. That totally makes sense.
Well, and because when I was, 13, 14 years old, that's what I kind of lumped all that together because I didn't know any better. But yeah, that's just, it's always kind of been aligned for me with those two.
So I'm glad you brought Luna up first, because that is actually the casting I was speaking of when I said I cross-gender cast someone, because my original pick for Luna was Road Pig.
Interesting.
You know what? I see it.
Go ahead, Kristian.
Well, I was going to say, because I have a Road Pig.
I have a Road Pig too.
Made my list. Okay.
I do as well. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. So my original casting for Luna was Road Pig, and just that visual, she just seemed perfect for it. But I found what I think is a better role for her that we'll get to a little bit down the line. Kristian, what do you got?
All right. So my first one, I'm going to give you guys Cobra Commander, as portrayed by Jimmy Hart.
Oh my.
He's all talk.
Let me tell you, Destro, I got this great plan to conquer the world, buddy.
He's got out of this world ideas, and his troops fail.
They both have an equal amount of charisma.
Yes.
And you know what? Going from a pure storytelling standpoint, you're 100% correct. That is a great pick. I love it. So how do you guys think we should do this? Because I have a Cobra Commander cast. So as we get to each character, should we each just share who we picked for that character and then kind of decide which one we think is best? Let's do that. So let's go back to Zorana for you.
Okay.
So my pick for Zorana was somebody just a more modern, kind of the same, because for me, Zorana is more sly and more capable of subterfuge, and also just has a different type of sex appeal from Luna Vachon. So my pick was Paige.
Okay.
She has that sort of punk rock and roll vibe. She has that wants to be upper class but isn't feel to her. So that was the one that just kind of fell in for me, that seemed to make sense. Kristian, did you have a Zorana pick, or did you just
I do not, but there's a reason.
Okay.
We'll get to later.
Oh, okay, okay. Fair enough. So between Luna and Paige, I don't know either one. I could see either one working.
Yeah.
It depends on how you're portraying her.
Yeah, it really does. It would matter in the story. All right, so that's our Zorana picks. Our Cobra Commander picks. So Kristian, you went with Jimmy Hart, which 100% makes sense, and actually might even be a better pick than the one I've got. Noel, did you? Surely you had a Cobra Commander.
I did not have a Cobra Commander.
He's a tough one.
Thought about it for a long time, but there was nobody who just really stood out.
So here's what I came up with for Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander's greatest talents are that he's an amazing heel and he cuts these promos that are just unbelievable. So I chose as my Cobra Commander the Nature Boy, woo, Ric Flair, because that guy can just talk and talk and talk. He is that when he's a heel, the greatest heel of all time, can look stupid but also still be a threat. Flair just he was the guy, and it took me a while to figure it out too, because Cobra Commander
makes so much sense when you hear it, but it never even crossed my mind.
It's a tough one. It's because you have to have the combination of complete and utter legitimacy with the ability to be a little foolish. Not, like
a lot of foolish, but yeah.
But just thinking of Ric Flair, and that now this would ruin the whole thing, because he wouldn't have the faceplate or the hood on. He would just have the Cobra Commander suit. But just thinking about Ric Flair cutting some Cobra Commander promos is amazing. So yeah, rather than picking one, I think we'll just each present ours, and the chat can take it in and think about what they prefer. Speaking of the chat, let's get back to him. Pafo, clutch was based only on his ability to annoy his teammates, but always getting a clutch behind the wheel. He got business done. Kevin Riddle, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as quick kick on looks alone. Excellent call.
Yeah. Was one that I had on my list.
Yeah.
But I had somebody else for quick kick too.
Hang on, let me see if I even have a quick kick. I know I do. Oh, I do have a quick kick. It's different. We'll get to it later. Kevin Riddle, Jim Cornette is Cobra Commander. I take it back. You win. Jim Cornette, 100% Cobra Commander, our redneck Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander Flair Gravitas. That's right. He can go between Gravitas and absurdity very easily. We got a lot of more good picks for Cobra Commander than I really expected, because once I hit on Flair, I kind of thought that was it. All right, next up. Oh, and if we do characters that are traditionally thought of as groups, like Slaughter's Renegades or the Dreadnoks, you can hit all three of them in one shot, because my picks kind of depended on those three people working together. Like, that's where my appeal came from. So, but my next one is a solo act. Well, not really a solo act, but it can be mentioned in one. For Flint, I picked Magnum TA.
Oh.
He's rugged. He's charismatic. He's just one of the toughest tough guy wrestlers. Put that man in a beret and give him a shotgun, and he can be my Flint all day long. And he could talk too, and that's an important aspect of Flint. Did you guys have any Flints? I could see where he may not have popped up to the top of a list, because
I did Daniel Bryan as Flint, because he's older. He gets hit. He can take an ass kicking and still get back up.
Oh,
that was pretty much Flint to me.
Yeah. I would have put Daniel Bryan in the Eco Warriors. Well, Flint was an Eco Warrior, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was
Daniel
the leader
Bryan
of the Eco Warriors.
We're done here. Forget Magnum TA. Daniel Bryan is Eco Warrior Flint. Done deal. We've wrapped up that conversation, my friends. Oh, look at this.
Or no.
Wilnius, thank you, dropping into. Oh, it's Thor Golden Cub. Thor Golden Cub. Follow him on Instagram and check out the incredible War Duke costume he had on at Toylanta. Holy cow.
Well, okay, so he also had an amazing Shazam costume that was fully lit up the day before. So both of those.
That's his gimmick though.
Yeah.
Apparently is like lighting effects in the costume because the War Duke had light up eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Well, thank you for the super chat. You were the best. You guys all rule. Everybody that's here hanging out with us, you're all awesome. All right. Next up, go back to Noel. What is your next casting decision, brother?
So you know what? This one was obvious from a visual standpoint. But we've already talked about Road Pig. But when I see Road Pig and I see that, you know, the blonde hair standing straight up and those big shoulders, Brock Lesnar.
Yep. Same one. And that was why I decided Luna couldn't be Road Pig.
Yeah.
Because Brock is too perfect.
Yeah, and I figured that one was probably one that somebody else made a correlation with.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
The only other way you could go, I think, is if you wanted to choose Hawk or Animal.
Or
because of the no, don't you stop! Don't say it.
Hey, look, I need to read some poetry right now.
Because are you telling us you cast Heidenreich as Major Blood?
Yes, he is on my list as Major Blood for that reason. But
no,
he was
he's
also
not.
He was yes, absolutely. He was also on my short list for Brock. So
oh my gosh!
I couldn't figure out where to put Heidenreich.
Well, you didn't have to put Heidenreich anywhere is really the answer to that one. All right.
My Road Pig goes in a totally different direction.
Okay.
I chose Beastie from Glow to be my Road Pig.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's got the shoulder pads, the hair, the attitude, and she's Australian.
You could almost wait. What year? Road Pig was 87?
87. No, 88.
88. It is entirely possible that Road Pig was influenced by Beastie. Because Glow was 80.
Like 80.
No, it wasn't 85. Was it? Was it around? Yeah, I guess it was around that early. Yeah, that's right. So, interesting. You might have just nailed it.
And you dipped into the Glow. I didn't even think about going.
No, I didn't either.
Glow.
I didn't either. Half of the female Joe characters might have been designed after Glow characters.
Growing up, so like from 1985 till high school, really, where we lived in Kentucky, we had no cable. You got what you got with an antenna,
right,
or our satellite dish. So I saw more Glow wrestling growing up because of the satellite than WWE. I only got to see WWE when I was at a friend's house.
Oh, okay. So Glow was.
I'm deep. I dig a lot into Glow.
Perfect.
Care.
That's perfect, though. I mean, it's honestly Glow. It would not be insane for the G.I. Joe toy line to have had a Glow subset in the same way that it had Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Right.
All right. Because it just came up in the chat, I gotta go ahead and throw another one out here. Gung Ho, because it came up in the chat and it's the same pick that I made. Gung Ho. Oh, hell yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's the same one. Yes.
That is G.I. Jakey, 1998. That is on my list, my pick. Kristian, that was your pick as well?
Yeah.
One, visually it works. Two, I just want to hear Stone Cold try to do a Cajun accent. Oh, hell yeah, mon ami. All right, Kristian, I think we skipped over you. What are we gonna get back here? What do you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Destro as portrayed by the fabulous Moolah.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
She loves her.
Yikes.
She loves her money, and she do not trust her.
Man,
Wow.
you went full heel with Destro.
So there's a lot also digging in with that, especially if you consider what the Prophet Director Destro's other name is.
Oh,
and
geez.
you know the history of what Moolah did to the women working under her.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
That's
that all tied in.
Brutally on the nose. My pick for Destro, because I was going with a more the guy behind the scenes who is really kind of running the show behind the figurehead guy, the one who's got it all together, the cerebral assassin, if you will. I see Triple H as somewhat of a Destro figure.
So funny you should say that, because I said the same thing. And the reason is because when that Destro was revealed, that classified Destro, look at that face. It's Triple H's face.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Look at the classified Destro's face. He looks like Triple H.
Whoa. Okay, I can't turn around and get mine right now, but I'm gonna look it up because you just blew my mind. Well, first of all, how have you never mentioned this before?
I swear I mentioned this either in our chats or somewhere. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and it is Triple H's face.
Oh my gosh. Look at the nose. Holy cow. You are, dude. That is crazy. I don't know how I didn't notice that.
The first time I saw it, that was all I could think of, is it looks like Triple H. Now, especially now that Triple H is bald.
Holy cow. Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna bring this up. Can I don't want my hang on. I'm working on this. Because we need to share this with the chat because it's pretty mind-blowing. All right, we don't need that. We need that. We need that. Here we go. I'm getting ready to share. And I know you guys have all seen good old classified Destro, but can I zoom in? It won't let me zoom in on it.
There's I just found a closer up picture of his face.
We can't waste any more time on this. I just recommend everybody take a look at your classified Destro figure. It is Triple H and it's insane. All right. So where were we?
I think it's Noel's goal.
Is it Noel?
Is it me?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not?
All right. So for my next one, I decided to go down to the swamps. And so my pick, not in his current character incarnation, whatever the heck it is, but in his previous cult leader style, I'm going with Bray Wyatt as Copperhead.
Oh,
I
okay.
love it.
Oh, that's perfect.
Somebody who hangs out like in the swamps of Louisiana. You kind of feel like Copperhead, he's spending some time with Cobra, but when he's back at home, he's got these underlings that'll just do whatever he wants for him. And I don't know, I just you could hear kind of the swagger in his voice. There's just something about him that just instantly made put those two together in my mind.
Real quick, everybody welcome David Sharp to the chat. New viewer, love the show. Thank you, David. Thanks for being here. We're glad to have you. If you've got any ideas of wrestlers who would make good Joes or Cobras, we're doing a little casting here, so throw them out. We'd love to see them. Yeah, that's perfect. I didn't even cast a Copperhead, but I love that.
No, and I was spinning my gears trying to think of where to put Bray Wyatt, and I couldn't come up with anything. But I adore him. So that's brilliant. If I'm not opposing Copperhead, but if it had occurred to me, because I was going
I wasn't going as which wrestlers as Joe's. I was coming up with Joe's and slotting wrestlers in. So Bray didn't occur to me, but if he had, my Bray would be Crystal Ball.
Yeah.
Well, then hold on to that, because I do have a crystal ball for later.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, Kristian.
Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and let's see. We haven't done many Joes. All right.
It's because Cobra. Look, I love
Cobra's
G.I. Joe.
cooler.
Cobra's more fun.
So my choice for Falcon.
Good. Good.
Yes.
Bill Goldberg. Because he played for the Falcons.
Okay. That's true.
He's an Easter egg casting. He's the WTF that makes people think about what? And that's why.
All right.
Bill Goldberg. I don't know that you're going to come up with a more baffling suggestion.
We'll just wait.
I also came up with a Falcon. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Little CM Punk as Falcon.
Okay.
Because a lot of people can't stand the guy, but he's weirdly charming. He's got a real what's it called when you've got a complex that you just deserve everything? Character wise and appearance wise, I think he'd be fine in the Falcon get up. But character wise, this was one that just really resonated for me. Where I was like, man, Punk is Falcon. Because look, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but I get it. We don't use foul language here on the show, but he's kind of a beehole, apparently. And it just lines up with everything I would think about Falcon, because I loved the Falcon figure. One of my favorites. But when you get to the character in the movie, there are some things that you find that you don't necessarily like very much. So to me, Punk was the perfect Falcon.
I went with a completely different direction for Falcon. With mine, again, Falcon is he's a very divisive character. This is a very divisive wrestler. Some people have much hatred for him despite all of his talents. Also similar, I could see looks wise him fitting the bill, and also a little bit of nepotism involved in his spot.
Eric Watts.
I gotta go with Randy Orton.
As
Falcon.
Oh, you win. That's perfect. That's perfect. As much as I liked my pick of Punk, Orton is perfect. Oh man, that's great.
Him just
but does that mean
always bucking authority?
Does that mean Bob Orton is Duke?
No, it would mean Nate Orton might be Duke. I don't know. Whichever Orton brother did not make it in wrestling.
Oh man. All right. Is it back to me? I believe it's back to me. All right, we're gonna have to skip around a little bit because we're already like we're past our hour, but we're gonna keep going because this is a lot of fun. Where are we here in the chat? Kevin Riddle suggests Shawn Michaels is Lieutenant Falcon. Also not a bad choice considering his relationship with Vince and the fact that even though he was absolutely a horrible person, he maintained his spot because the main guy loved him. Not a bad pick. Reason is he's cocky. Yes, he is also cocky. Tommy Throwback, welcome to the chat. It's okay you're late to the party because the audio episode will be available this Friday. You can catch up and catch the preposterous promos from the previous portion. There's some alliteration off the top of my head for you.
Very nice.
Love the vintage toy shopping video. Good. I'm glad. There are more to come. I've got 2 more coming and 1 more that I'm planning because I have inadvertently snubbed an incredible toy retailer that I need to feature. All right. Moving along. I'm going to, gosh, I've got some that I really, really want to get to, but so Doc, in the early Sunbow episodes, Doc was a critical, and I actually made this argument earlier on his tank. Doc was an A-lister. He was smart. He was funny. He was the guy that, in a way, held the Joes together. And my casting for Doc is none other than my close personal acquaintance, Xavier Woods.
He's also a doc.
Well, yes, who is also a doctor,
Yes.
literally. But I think Woods could pull off the character of Doc very, very well, because Doc had a sharp wit. He was kind of the wise guy, but he was also the guy who invented like everything that G.I. Joe used in the first couple of miniseries. I just, that's lined up perfectly for me. Made sense.
Yeah.
I have no Doc.
I did not come up with a doc, but that's
Fair enough.
I like that. I like that casting.
Yeah.
And I think Doc, most people don't consider Doc as main a character as I do. But to me, he's like, if I had to make top 10 Joes, he would be in the top 10 list every time because of his presence in those early Sunbow stories. All right, Noel, what you got next?
So this is a character currently in wrestling who I don't understand what's going on, but I can tell you one thing: he's really annoying. So this is why I would cast him as another very annoying character. Plus, he got the dark long hair. Seth Rollins as Metalhead. Because what is it that Seth Rollins is doing? Running around dancing, chanting, and moving and flailing his arms. Put some rockets on that guy. Boom.
I want that. Remember how China used to come out with the C9000? I
Yes.
want Rollins now to come out with a bunch of rockets on him, just dancing and shooting stuff out of his rockets as everybody sings his theme song. I also don't really understand what Rollins is doing now, but I love it. Rollins' Metalhead is perfect. I done deal.
I don't know if anybody even thought about casting Metalhead, but
I didn't.
that was one of the first ones
No.
that I came up with.
No, I didn't have Metalhead, or I'm looking at my list right now. I didn't have Rollins anywhere either. So done. Perfect. Kristian, what you got next?
Okay, so let's throw another Joe into the mix then. And my roadblock
Oh boy.
is Mountain Fiji.
Oh.
Okay.
The unstoppable force from Glow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent choice. I can't argue that at all. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And such an important character in Glow that was
Featured
represented right in the Netflix Glow series, which, by the way,
Mhm.
if anybody watching this, listening to this, whatever, has not watched the Netflix Glow series, it is awesome. And it upsets me terribly that it did not get to wrap things up
Yeah.
Yep.
because of the pandemic. So my pick for Roadblock went in a completely different direction.
Sure.
Somebody who I feel never really got what they deserved in the wrestling business. I followed their career from the moment they appeared in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling until they moved on to WWE. And I am talking about the master of the pounds, Monty Brown, a.k.a. Marcus Corvon. The guy, now, when he started, it was a little rough. But by the time he got to WWE, that guy could talk. He had the look. He had the moves. I don't know why he didn't go further than he did. But man,
I mean, he like left the industry. He just went home to like take care of his family.
Right. I think he went home to take care of a sick family member and just was done.
Yeah.
But he had, once he got, because he, like I said, he had Raw just dripping with charisma when he started, but was just so green. But he very quickly got to a point where it felt like he was going to be huge. But to me, like, that guy would be an amazing roadblock. I would love it. He'd be great.
I can see it. I thought was a little bit obvious on the nose, but I mean, visually, it's hard to miss him. Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
I mean,
the only problem though is Lashley can't talk.
That's true. But I'm just like, visually, you're looking at that guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
but can he rhyme? He doesn't have to say much as long as it rhymes.
And Kevin Riddle in the chat, Junkyard Dog is Roadblock, which, while visually doesn't line up as well to me as well as Monty Brown, is still a perfect choice because talking wise, he might actually be the best choice for Roadblock. Because
and honestly, the way that Junkyard Dog kind of delivered his lines, he was kind of slow and he was a little rhythmic. So I actually do like that choice a lot.
Yeah, it's a fantastic choice. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Wait, who was that? Oh, it's me again. I'm back to me. Back to me. Okay. I have to go with this next because I have to get this one in. Major Blood. Now, we've had a couple of different options for Major Blood. My choice was originally Leap and Lanny because of the genius, the poetry. But then I realized there was somebody who better encapsulated the world-traveling ruthlessness of Major Blood. And that is my personal favorite wrestler of all time, William Regal.
Okay.
William Regal, like peak career William Regal as Major Blood would be one of the scariest characters ever seen on the screen.
Yeah.
He's dastardly, he's ruthless, he knows how to be evil. It's perfect for me.
And you know what? It just dawned on me that I don't know why I didn't ever think of it before, but he would have been perfect for my Cobra Commander too.
Absolutely.
I could see him in that position as well.
Well, there are a lot of Cobra villains because William Regal is the greatest villain of all time. There are a lot of places you could slot him in, but I can just see a 1998 William Regal as Major Blood. Maybe 96, but just that ruthless, vicious heel that also has like some cowardly characteristics. Perfect for me. Did either one of you guys cast a blood?
I mean, I had Heidenreich on my list, but I don't know if I liked it enough.
I pretended that I forgot about that.
I had the Iron Sheik as my Major Blood. Young Iron Sheik with today Iron Sheik's mentality.
Yeah, I love that.
Just that he is mean, but when stuff doesn't go his way, it's everybody else's fault.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Let's see. Noel.
Who I'll go with next? I'm going to dig back on this one, and I have a this is a great choice, and then I have an absolutely not for this one. for rock and roll.
Okay.
My absolutely not is rock and roll Buck Zumhoff. We're never going to mention him again.
Whoa. You went deep for that one.
No, because he's a terrible person also. But no, my pick for rock and roll, and I went back and forth on a few of these, but like when I originally like kind of fantasy cast rock and roll in a movie, it was going to be Greg Allman.
Sure.
But in the world of wrestling, Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant.
How did I know that's where
is
you
rock
were
and
going?
roll.
I love that. That's great. Now, granted, he's 140 years old, but it's
era,
fine.
they don't. I'm saying
It's fine.
In 1984,
He was
could have
still
played rock and roll.
140 years old.
Yes.
No, that's perfect. I love it. That's great. I didn't come up with a rock and roll. All right. Kristian. Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. We got a couple in here. Oh, Will R has jumped into the chat with a bunch of Bob Sapp as Roadblock. Randy Orton is and always will be Serpentor.
He's the Viper.
That's not bad. Matt Morgan as Rock and Roll.
Okay.
I can see it. All right, Kristian.
Okay. So I'm going to go with my... So when you said if they're a group, are we doing Zartan and the Dreadnoks together?
I would say
Zartan is his own.
Zartan is separate, I would say,
Okay.
but the three main Dreadnoks would be together.
Okay.
It's funny, though, that we hit Road Pig before we got to anybody else.
So my choice for Zartan is Asuka.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I mean, she wins. She is my current favorite active wrestler, so that checks any box for me.
Yeah, okay.
Cast her as anybody. I love that. That's great. All right, my Zartan was the sort of very mysterious guy. I think the look works. I think the aura works, and that is Malachi Black. From AEW. Formerly Alistair Black,
formerly Tommy End.
Yes, which is maybe not as good a name. Yeah, I'm a huge Malachi Black fan. By the way, Malachi Black, Supreme AEW action figure, one of my figures of the year for last year. But yeah, I just see that. I can picture it 100%. Works for me.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Noel, did you have a Zartan?
I did not have a Zartan.
Well, he's kind of tough because it's you could go a lot of different ways with picking who would work for him. My first pick for Zartan was Chris Jericho because he's had so many different characters over the years. I went at it from that angle, but I'm so disinterested in Chris Jericho at this point in my life that I didn't want to pick him for anything.
He was actually on the short list of people who could also be rock and roll for me, but I like my Jimmy Valiant better.
Kevin Riddle, 100% Boogie Woogie Man. Craig Dukas, Cena is Zartan. Can't hit what you can't see. Will R, Surfer Sting is Duke. I like it. Looks wise, I'm into that. Although he also Zartan potentially. Okay. Where were we? Oh, it's back. Is it back to me? It's back to me. Okay. All right. I gotta make a decision here because we are definitely running out of time. I've got a lot that I feel like are gonna get a laugh. Okay. This one, because I know you guys have to have picks for this one. For Shipwreck. There are a lot of possibilities because there have been a lot of Lotharios in the history of professional wrestling. But to me, the king of them all is Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
I feel like, because look, Shipwreck, another one of those top 10 guys, if you're looking at it from a Sunbow perspective. He is one of the main Sunbow characters. And Eddie had the charisma, the delivery, the presence to carry whatever this weird pro wrestling G.I. Joe project that we're making is. Eddie Guerrero had the presence to be one of the faces of it. And that's what Shipwreck has to be.
Yeah.
And plus, he's got that ladies' man thing going on. So that's my shipwreck. Who you guys
Noel,
know? You
you
guys
go.
had shipwrecks.
I thought about. I didn't have one that was my final pick for it because I really only wrote down the ones that I wanted to throw out. I did think of along the lines of the Lothario thing, and also because he's Latino, Angel Garza.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I went completely in a different direction. And my shipwreck,
Shocking,
I know,
by the way.
my shipwreck will be played by Globe wrestler Hollywood.
Oh,
Just dye your hair brown.
Okay,
but she was a butt kicker and a sex pot. Everybody wanted her, and everybody wants shipwreck. So
that's fair enough.
all right.
Okay, back to the chat. Will R. Rick Rude as Ricondo, mustache. Enough said.
Yeah.
I don't know it. I don't think I had a Ricondo.
I had a Ricondo, but it was going a little deep and obscure.
Was it what's his name? Not Cutter. Skinner?
Yeah, it's Steve Kieran.
Is it Skinner?
It's Steve Skinner Kieran is Ricondo.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And then we've got another one from G.I. Jakey 1998, who I'm starting to be a little concerned might like have an implant in my brain, because once again, G.I. Jakey has picked one of my picks. And that
was mine.
As Duke, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare.
Yep.
So maybe it's just because it's so obvious then. I feel a little better.
I mean, he's now Homelander,
point.
Who's essentially Duke. So
right,
there you go.
Right. So yeah, Cody Rhodes as Duke is absolutely perfect. Kristian, did you have a Duke?
I did have a Duke.
Okay.
So I went with someone who is a leader of the good guys, is blonde, but bland and boring personality, like how I feel about Duke, and that would be Tina Ferrari.
Hey, don't you dare say things about Ivory.
Ivory? How dare you? How dare you, sir?
Her time in WWE
right.
was different than when she was on Glow.
She had not quite found herself yet
yeah.
in Glow. I can't disagree with that. Okay, so Kevin Riddle went with the more literal interpretation of shipwreck that I actually used in the image for this, and that is tugboat.
I support that.
Yeah, I'm down with that one too. We can have like solid, well thought out picks, but we can also have just fun, ridiculous picks. And honestly, that could be a whole other episode, is literal visual representations of wrestlers as Joes. All right, we just got time for let's see. So what do we have? Duke. Who was next? I lost
Noel's
track.
next.
Noel's next.
Ooh, do I want to go with my like really thought out one, or do I want to go with the funny one?
Right. That's the decision, right? When I look at these, I'm like, all right, do I want to show everybody how clever I am, or do I want to just get the big laugh?
So I'm going to go with this because I was like, I got to cast a Wild Bill. And so who's going to be the best to just start hooting and hollering and going, yeehaw? It's Jimmy Wang Yang.
Okay. You win. My pick for Wild Bill was Bradshaw.
Okay.
But you win because I had Jimmy Wang Yang as Quick Kick.
Okay.
More for personality than anything else, but he's so much better as Wild Bill. That is perfect. Kristian, did you have any iteration of any of those in any way? Who would oh wait, okay. We got a bunch of New York Night 1974. Welcome to the show. Mark Henry as the Fridge. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Kevin Riddle, Rick Steiner as Bazooka on Looks Alone. Okay. I think this is, since it came up, well, Kristian, you go ahead and go. and I will start off our final round, even though we've got a ton more, and maybe we'll like publish them or revisit this again. I don't know. Kristian, what you got for the second to last round?
Okay. So for my Baroness, I went with Colonel Ninotchka from Glow.
100%. I will back that one up.
Okay.
It's looks, it's fake accent. It's everything.
Well, again, almost could be based off of, although Baroness was 84.
Well, she was like 83 in the comics.
Was she? Okay.
82 because she's in the first issue.
Well,
She's in
yeah,
the
you're
first
right.
issue,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah, that's solid. So my Baroness, again, I went from more of a character position viewpoint. I chose the $1 Million Princess, Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, that makes sense.
That just from a and if you go back to one of my earlier picks of Triple H as Destro, that all lines up.
I went with just on a visual look. I had to go back to old like mid 2000s Tracy Brooks from Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, we have Dusty Road. Oh gosh, we've got a ton coming in. Will R. Magnum TA is Wild Bill. Better, honestly, that's a better pick than Flint, which was my choice. Dusty Rhodes is Duke, a real American dream, baby. G.I. Jakey, 1998. Sheamus as Ambush. All right, that one you did not get out of my head because I would not have thought of that, but it's perfect.
Yep.
And then we have New York Night, 1974. Trish Stratus is Baroness. Kevin Riddle, Baroness for me is Stacy Keibler.
That was my other choice for the Baroness, was Stacy Keibler.
Yeah. Well, Miss, what was she in WCW?
Miss Hancock.
Miss Hancock. Yeah, I can see that. All right. Well, you guys, we are up against a hard. That is actually going to wrap things up, and it's fitting, I think, that we finish on Baroness.
Because who doesn't?
That is. We're a family show. That's God. You guys, it is time to sign off. We do not have time for Joe and Tell this time around, but we will be back with a regular streaming episode on April the 10th. The audio version of this episode will be available this Friday wherever you get your podcasts. Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. Our music is by Andy Simford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. Twitter, Instagram no longer shares to Twitter automatically, but occasionally G.I. Joe Audible on Twitter. Noel, why don't you tell us about The Finest?
The Finest is a G.I. Joe costuming club, and we actually got to participate at Toyland this past weekend. We raised money for a fantastic organization called Canines for Warriors. So if you are at a convention and you see us out there raising money, drop by, say hello, throw a few bucks our way. It goes to a great cause. And if you ever thought about dressing up like your favorite G.I. Joe character, we can help you do that.
All the resources you need to be your favorite Joe.
Yes, thefinestcc.com.
And Kristian, Legion, your photography has been on fire lately.
Yes.
Where can we find, and darn it, stop tempting me with those Silverhawks.
You can find me on Instagram and Flickr.com under the name Legion Cub. They're really good figures.
Dude, stop it. Stop it. Although I guess my Ninja Turtles money has got to go somewhere now. As always, thank you guys for sitting down and talking to me about G.I. Joe. Thank you, everybody in the chat, whether you contributed, whether you just hung out. Tell your friends about Audible Interlude. Share it on the internet. And as always, yo, Joe!
Go.